Hi, hello. I'm being lazy today, so y'all get webcam through OBS instead of this camera. Even though I low key love this angle, I'm not doing that today. I still don't have a thing for my ceiling fan, so I mean I have it. I just haven't put it back on there yet because when I turn the light on, it's like bright. Anyway, so y'all know how I say be careful what you declare to the universe. If you're gonna say yourself as healed, be prepared to live that healed life. If you're gonna say that your Chiron is whatever, be prepared to live that Chiron whatever life. Cause she does collect and she will have you live in that life that you declare. So anyway, for reasons that I might get into at some point, I am trying my at shorter videos. Now, I'm not going to go for anything crazy, but 15 minutes would be like perfect. So, I don't know. I had this like spread building phase back in 2018, end of 2019, sorry, where I would build a spread and I'd go live and I'd ask if anybody wanted a read and I would use that spread on it. For reasons that I might get into at some point. I might do that again. I don't know if I'm going to build spreads or if I'm just going to pull cards, honestly. We'll see. I'll fill it out as I go. So, let's get into. I kept shuffling and the card fell on the table. The Ten of Candles. And all I loved alone. I'm using the Edgar Allan Poe tarot. And then something fell on the floor. Floor. Y'all remember when I was looking to see when Jupiter would enter my first house? That was my first clue. Girl, because I don't know why. Well, anyway, it's fine. All things in their own time at their own pace. And I guess I shouldn't be surprised because there are so many things moving in my life right now. Strength. The Ten of Wands is strength. If we're going to see the Ten of Wands, I love that strength is behind it. The Ten of Wands is an interesting card. The Ten of Wands can be interesting. It's really the Pride Tarot that got me to see the Ten of Wands in a way that is more along the lines of like God gives his hardest assignments to his toughest warriors, or spirit God doesn't put more on us than we can bear and stuff like that. It's like you're built to last. You're last, right? The Queen of Quills is at the bottom of the deck, which is the Queen of Swords, which I've seen her. I feel like this is the third time I've used the Edgar Allan Poe tarot, and this is the third time we've seen her. No guile disguised the fervor of love which animated her heart, and she examined with me its inmost recesses as we walked together in the valley of the many-colored grass. Queen of Swords came out last time, and her shadow, she was preceded by her shadow of what we need for the world to be and who we need others to be in order for us to maintain a sense of identity, or in order for one of it's like there are pillars on which our identity is sort of hoisted or supported, who we need other people to be, what we need the world to be, what we need certain things to be. And I was thinking about it on my way home today, and there's something about like it's almost like drawing back your power, but it's to have a definition of self that is truly born within the self, that is not dependent upon someone else, or that is not um, based in a certain standing or relationship. And this is like identity. Mm. The Eight of Quills, Eight of Swords. Arousing from the most profound of slumbers, we break the gossamer web of some dream. Let's just have to cut. I've never noticed that the Queen of Quills is dipped in an ink pot. There's this like Ace of Cups almost energy. And I think the Four of Pentacles was out, and I feel like the Ace of Cups, I saw it yesterday. We'll set this here. Oh, well, look, and then there's our motivational lion, or our big cat with the mirror in the motivational poster. As strength. A feeling for which I have no name has taken possession of my soul. And all I loved alone. So these two together, it makes me think of strength. It makes me think of the Ten of Wands in a way that the Ten of Wands is a card of being a card of journeying or a spiritual journey, like the Eight of Cups, like the Six of Swords. They're cards that depict a movement. The Ten of Wands, because strength is here, it is almost the energy of a responsibility that we have more so than a burden that we have to bear. Because burden, I mean, it is a burden, but when it's a responsibility, it like responsibility has a connotation that like there's a point, there's a reason behind why we do what we do. When it's just a burden, it feels like the emphasis is put on the weight so much so that we don't know why, or maybe we forget why we're doing whatever it is that we're doing. And when we forget why it is that we do what we do, it can be easy to immediately just try to sort of like drop a burden or to release a burden. But if it's a responsibility, maybe it's not for us to, right? Now, because the Queen of Quills, which is the Queen of Swords, is here, the Queen of Swords, again, last time she came out, it was that strength with the Devil card. It was that like somebody needed to be the villain or somebody needed to continue being the villain so that she could be the hero in her own story rather than her just like being fabulous. You know what I mean? Like you don't need someone else to be dumb in order for you to be smart. You don't need someone else to lack in order for you to have. It's not comparative. It doesn't have to be comparative. Because the Eight of Swords is here, I'm actually taking it as look at it in a new way, in a different way. So this isn't the Queen of Quills that we saw before. I think there's this, maybe it goes to what I said in the beginning, like if you're going to proclaim or if you're going to claim or if you're going to declare yourself to be healed, prepare to live a healed life. Prepare yourself for the universe to bring you situations and circumstances that the healed you would be able to navigate. Prepare to be tested, but not in a way of testing you. But if you aren't what you claim to be, then you will find it testing. Even if you are what you claim to be, you may still find it challenging, but it would be a challenge that you are more often than not likely to overcome, right? Maybe that is also what this is. There could be a like going through some type of situation for however long you were going through it gave you a certain strength. It's almost like working out, building muscles. Eventually your body gets used to the weight that you're bearing to the point where it doesn't notice it. So I don't know if it's something that needs more time, but the Page of Pause is behind this. Pause has to be Pentacles. It's the ink for me. There's this like, you know how you dip the ink quill in how you dip the quill in the pot of ink before you begin to write. It's like it's dipping, 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 dipping. Like it's continuously dipping the quill into that pot of ink. But it feels like it hasn't yet begun to write. And then the Page of Pause is there, which is the Page of Pentacles, which is the beginning. But it's like an experienced beginning, number one, or it is an assured beginning. meaning it's probably something that's going to take a certain amount of time, energy, or effort. There's the King of Quills at the cut with the Two of Candles. King of Quills, King of Swords, Queen of Swords, both of them came out before. But again, something about this Eight of Quills is saying to read this in a different way. So it may have been the very thing, again, it may have been the very thing that was the burden that created some kind of strength within you, that makes it easier to do other things. And it is that's the dipping the ink, that's dipping the quill into the ink. So in that, somewhere you acquired the strength, the knowledge, the wisdom, the know-how, you made connections, you built a network, you gave yourself resources to actually proceed forward with this Two of Candles, Two of Wands energy. With the King of Swords, though, for some reason, the King of Swords is reading as creative. And it's not that the King of Swords isn't creative, but it's like knowing how to use the resources at your disposal, which almost, in a way, comes as like knowing how one thing, it's like knowing enough uses of one thing that you can do other things with that. Basically, substitutions. Like if you have a recipe and you don't have eggs, but you can substitute bread. And if you don't have bread, you can substitute cheese. And if you don't have cheese, you can substitute grass. You know what I mean? What kind of recipe is that? I don't know. But like that's the thing about the King of Swords, and I guess the knowledge that he acquires. So there is a little bit of MacGyvering, I guess, but it feels less janky because it feels like it might be like the fourth or fifth alternate, but it's acceptable. Okay. The Eight of Candles, which is the Eight of Wands. 1, 2, 3, and away. Ooh, I love that. That's quick. It also dropped 2 candles. From the 10 of candles to the 8 of candles is that 2 of candles. So it's almost like um, if you've ever played Mario Kart and when the race is starting, if you hit the gas, if you hit the accelerate right before, so it's basically like 3, 2, 1, go. If you hit the gas between 1 and go, you'll start with a little bit of a boost. But if you apply too much gas for too long, you'll like spin out in the beginning of the race. And it's something like that. Like the 10 of Wands and strength and dipping the quill. It's creating this mess, but it feels like it might also be like backing something up. Not necessarily. I mean, it could, but it's more so that like if you hit the accelerate right before it's time to go, you'll start with a boost, and that's this Eight of Wands. Like the 10 of Wands, strength, Queen of Swords is you again. This is the Queen of Whales. I said the Queen of Quills. This is the Queen of Cups. Oof. Well, maybe that's why I was supposed to read it in a different way. It's a different queen. Um, I guess the Queen of Cups in this scenario and situation could be the Queen of Swords and her shadow becomes jaded. This is the queen that may have been for a time, but she's the queen that realizes and recognizes that something is different because she's been putting in work and effort towards accomplishing or whatever. So she recognizes that a way is open with that Two of Wands. Because it's the Queen of Cups, it may be her intuition that tells her. Could be an intuition that's strengthened through the Ten of Wands and strength. So maybe while you were going through a challenging time or difficult time, you grew closer to spirit in some way that refined, that honed your intuition, that taught you a discernment. Hey, Farida. How are you doing? I'm only hopefully going to be on here for like another minute. I'm trying to do shorter readings instead of like 3 hours. In that process, again, you could have, again, it's like refined your discernment in a way that you're able to like recognize things differently now. That two of wands may not necessarily be extremely blatant. It might be something as subtle as you intuitively knowing like turn left instead of turn right, or go here and just like go here, do this, go here, be open, like use that new strength, tap into the strength that you've gained in whatever the journey has been for you. Again, 10 of wands is a part of journeying. And then after you do, I feel like that's what all this 8 of wands momentum is. The 8 of wands is a card of significant momentum. It's significant momentum basically because you've already put in the work. So I think I'm going to end this here. I hit the 15 minutes. I'm actually going to end it. I'm sorry, Frida. But if you catch me next time, then I would be more than happy to answer a question if I can. So I hope you have an amazing whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And until next time, I hope you sight, I guess. I hope you sight to see opportunity through challenge when it presents itself, if it presents itself. I'm sure it will, but I hope you the sight to see the opportunity that lies beyond the challenge rather than just like the burden of it or the difficulty of it to the point where you may not see the point.